Welcome to the Startempire Wire Founders Podcast, where we make entrepreneurial founders a top priority. Each episode features risk takers, business builders, community shapers, institutional and government supporters in our local startup ecosystem. Tune in weekly to hear all about what's happening with the movers and the shakers of Southern California's Inland Empire and beyond. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Founders Podcast, where we go through the Inland Empire and beyond, and we talk to those people who are leaders in the startup ecosystem. We talk to people who are feeding into the startup ecosystem, people who are the who's who. Who do you need to know? How do you connect with people locally? This is what we do here at the Founders Podcast. And today, I'm with Francisca Reyes. Hopefully I said that okay, of UCR, Blackstone LaunchPad, who is in charge of the program at a UCR for startups. So Francesca, please introduce yourself first, and then tell us a little bit about the program, and we'll dive deeper.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for having me. My name is Francisca Reyes. You say it right. I go by Frances. I joined UCR in December last year as the campus director of Blackstone LaunchPad. Blackstone LaunchPad, it's a program that it's part of a large network of 50 universities throughout 8 states. And the purpose of Blackstone LaunchPad Foundation is to promote entrepreneurship among those students and young individuals. So Blackstone LaunchPad here at UCR gives the opportunity for students to learn about entrepreneurship and get the skills in the entrepreneurial mindset. But also we provide support to the students that become entrepreneurs. And my program is also part of the Office of Technology Partnerships and of EPIC, that is the Entrepreneurship Proof of Concept and Innovation Center, where we provide resources to entrepreneurs at all stages of their venture. So I'm so excited to be here. As also another thing that I do is to promote entrepreneurial education and campus and help the rest of UCR's faculty and staff to promote entrepreneurship around here. So thank you for having me.
A lot of entrepreneurship going on.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm glad to have connected with you when I connected with you last year, or was it last year? Or
Yes, it was last year when
Okay.
Yes. So thank you for the invitation, and you pointed something very important, that all of us are part of an entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Yes.
And you are a key component of this ecosystem, and the entrepreneurs are another component, but important critical component of the entrepreneurship ecosystem. But I guess I represent another aspect of this ecosystem,
Yes,
which is
you
a
do.
university and providing technical assistance and services to entrepreneurs.
Right. Okay, so since you've been a part of UC Riverside, what are some of the things that you've noticed about the student body in regards to entrepreneurship?
Well, and this is one thing that sometimes when we think about students is that in the higher education, we tell the students, get a lot of skills, maybe a lot of technical skills, be good students. And most of the time we forget to include the entrepreneurial aspect to it, because sometimes they're like, oh, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to go get a job, and then everything will be good. But others, and sometimes I'm not going to say ignore them, but sometimes we don't give them enough credit to say, I don't want to be an employee. I want to create my own thing.
Yes.
Now with the gig economy, I need a job, but maybe I'm going to do my own thing, right, on the side. So giving them all the skills or the things that they need to be successful. It doesn't really matter that. As for in my program, we obviously promote technical ventures, right?
Okay.
And we obviously won those ones, but because I'm part of Blackstone LaunchPad, my mandate is to help all students.
Right.
So a lot of times people laugh at me because I'm like, well, if a student comes with a taco stand idea, I'll be the first client because I love tacos. So I don't discriminate on the
There we
type of
go.
ideas, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, if a student comes with a very sophisticated idea, we obviously try to provide all the services and all the assistance for them to be successful. But if they
Okay.
come up with something else, as long as they have a good solution to a problem, that's enough. And
You're
I
going to be
think
supportive, huh?
definitely.
Okay, so tell us, let's go back a little bit. Tell us,
Mhm.
where are you from? Where'd you grow up? You know,
Well,
you're here in the U.S. now with us. Where'd you grow up and how'd you get connected in with Epic, you know,
mhm.
and UCR?
Well, I guess I'll expand a lot about my background. That's for a whole
Yeah,
month, I guess.
right. You don't have to go in
uh,
too much detail. Yeah.
uh, I'm I'm from Mexico. I grew up in Durango, Mexico. That's on the northern part of Mexico.
Yes.
And I actually grew up helping my dad in a cattle ranch, believe it or
Oh,
not. My dad had a
nice.
cattle ranch. And since I don't have brothers, my sister and I were one of those ones where we were to school during the weekday. And during the weekends, we were doing a lot of things in the cattle ranch.
Hmm.
And then my sister and I actually major in engineering.
Oh,
I'm an industrial engineer and my sister
very
is an
cool.
electrical engineer, and I work in a manufacturing company. I've been an industrial engineer, and at that time, believe it or not, we were not a lot of females in management.
Okay.
I actually was very few, actually very
First.
few females in our companies,
Wow.
and actually my it was in the instances that even my sister and I were the only females in the whole class.
Oh, wow.
So that was something
Especially in
challenging.
engineering, I guess. Yeah, engineering for sure. I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, um so being in a male dominated field, it gives you a different perspective of how to do things, right? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we um we got to El Paso, Texas. Please
El
don't take that against
Paso. Yeah.
and
No,
I actually
I love Texas. I'm from Texas.
oh, you're from Texas. See.
Yeah.
So I went to the University of Texas El Paso, and there's where I did
Cool.
my master's in business
UTEP.
administration. Yes,
UTEP.
minors.
Yeah.
Yes.
My my cousin played football at UTEP. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, we're
See?
minors fans around here. That's awesome. And then I did also a master's in public administration, and at that time, one of my professors was doing research in social entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
So he invited me to join his research team and then join a program that's called the Kaufman Campus Initiative. So I'm
Kauf-
dropping Kaufman
Kaufman
from
is
the
a
Kaufman
big name.
Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm
Kaufman is a
name
big-
dropping now. Jesus. And then at that time at UTEP was one of the 8 universities that got awarded by the Kaufman Foundation to promote entrepreneurship in campus.
Wow.
So it was a huge thing, and at that time I was helping with research and
Yes.
social entrepreneurship. I got into also Hispanic entrepreneurship, and
Yes.
then Mexican American female entrepreneurs,
Oh, nice.
and then also doing a lot of outreach activities in campus to promote entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And so that was my, I guess, introduction to the entrepreneurship concept.
Right.
And that changed my life completely. It's
That's
just
cool.
like, that
Wow.
was a cornerstone of my life.
Yeah.
And then when I tell students, it's when I joined the dark side. I was like, now it's more about business. I mean, obviously, engineering is awesome, whatever, but I was like, now let's do this,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It's more
yes.
the business idea.
Especially
But
with Kaufman Foundation. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so it was, I think it was a great experience on that part. And then I work in the nonprofit sector. a little bit. And then since I'm a nerd, I went back to do my doctorate, but I did it in economic development.
Oh, wow.
And then I didn't move too far from El Paso. I actually did it in Las Cruces, New Mexico, New Mexico State University.
Yes.
So very close to El Paso, 45 minutes.
Very close, yeah.
Yes. So there in New Mexico State University, I joined another entrepreneurship and economic development center called Arrowhead Center. Yes, and there we were doing a lot of things for entrepreneurs, but also doing a lot of things at least in my case, I move a little bit into my my tasks, and also helping with intellectual property and commercialization, and evaluating technologies to see the novelty of those technologies. And then one of the things that when I tell students that you need to learn skills is because I was like, well, now everybody was like, oh, Francis, you're an engineer and you have an MBA, so you understand these things. Or sometimes, serve as the bridge between these two things, right? It's like, and it helps because sometimes when you have a lot of researchers or a lot of engineers or something very technical and whatever, and this, sometimes you're like,
oh, both of the languages, right?
Definitely. And you're like, what do you say? What is your technology about?
Right.
Like, please translate. So there's where when I was helping a lot and saying, well, you know what, this is your idea and it sounds fantastic, and you're telling me all these scientific terms that nobody else will understand. Right. And now we're gonna just fix your pitch, so now you can explain it and explain the novelty and how this is attractive for.
So you were coaching. You were coaching these startups to kind of help them present their startup, or what?
Yes, helping them with that, helping them with their approval concept center that we had over there at New Mexico State University, and also help them a little bit with feasibility studies, understanding if they had a product market fit and market research aspects and all those things, and and also trying to see if they had the potential of being protected in terms of IP and commercialization. So that was a great experience, I guess, for me in that regard, because I learned a lot about technologies and about entrepreneurs and helping the ecosystem.
Kind of helping it shape.
In a more institutional aspect.
Very cool. The Inland Empire startup ecosystem industry is tremendously fragmented. A few top-tier hubs, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego, are well covered by media, events, and data platforms. Finding reliable information relevant to startups or the tech industry in the Inland Empire is extremely difficult. As a result, startups can't scale fast enough. Investors are having a hard time finding the right deals, and corporates can't find the right companies to partner with for their innovation activities. Startempire Wire, the leading Inland Empire startup publication, is providing the Inland Empire startup ecosystem with the most accurate, engaging business and financial data, events, and news. Our reach of entrepreneurs, C-level executives, angels, VC investors, startup employees, key management at innovative corporates, and big tech is the solution for your B2B or B2C needs. As we build out our platform, we're looking for partners. This is your opportunity to get in on the ground level. If you're looking to align yourself with the local and growing startup and tech ecosystem of the Inland Empire, we have created the platform to get your name noticed and the opportunity for you to grow the recognition of your brand. Contact us today for availability and pricing options. We look forward to our partnership with you.
Yeah.
So that was all, and then what was next? What was next?
Well, next, I actually...
How did you get to UCR?
Wait, I was like, I told you I could stay there talking about this for years. Anyways, and then I became a professor, an assistant professor in a small university in New Mexico.
Okay.
And then there I was teaching business, economics, and
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
then I left that university and I joined the United Nations Development Program.
Wow. Yeah, you've been
See,
all
I
over.
keep going
All
with
over,
it.
huh?
But even on that, the name dropping, it's like,
Right,
at least
right.
for me, it was great. I mean, joining the United Nations
Yes.
and the development program is actually one of the goals is to promote development in more aspects, not only economic development, but community and social development and
Okay.
helping all that, and particularly to promote all these technologies or all these changes to comply with the sustainable goals that the United Nations has imposed. Right. They're very ambitious goals, but that we want to reduce poverty or increase gender equality, and all those things are important. Awesome. So part of my task was also work with these multicultural groups, and actually with a lot of people the experts, and it was a very humble experience for me to work with all of them to create programs to attract better practices at the country level or multinational level rather than just little bitty programs. So and then I joined UCR. So that's the end of the story.
Well, how did you join? Did somebody like invite you? Did someone reach out to you? What was kind of like the? Did you apply to an application?
I just applied I applied for a job, and actually I was like, when I saw the job description, I was like, this is perfect, because that's what I just described to you. I was like, all my life I've been doing all these things in different capacities. So I was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
And you have a lot of experience in this realm, which is really cool, because this is like the perfect fit for you. So now you're working with the student body at UCR. You had an event last year. And what was that event? I came to it. It was pretty cool.
Yes.
Was it this year? It was this year. No,
it was this year, but it was last quarter. It was at the spring quarter. UCR goes on the quarter system, so it was in the spring quarter. And we're trying to do more entrepreneurial events, as you know. But this is a networking event. So the intention of these networking events are twofold. The first one, connect entrepreneurs with other entrepreneurs. And, and in this ecosystem, that's important because know who else is doing what. Yes. But also, I think the second part is exposing the students to entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs need a lot of support. They need a lot of talent. They need workers. Or even sometimes you're like, I could be your co-founder or all that. So I think a networking event, it's the perfect opportunity for them to connect and learn what's going on and learn about possibilities, this is something that they can do. And I always love interacting with students in that sense, because they have a different energy, and they're always very positive about
they're excited.
Future. And they are very excited.
I met a few of your student entrepreneurs, and they're all very enthusiastic, and I feel younger than I really am. I was like, these. All right, let's go for it, man. Come on.
Yes, I think you're right. It's like that is being around students. I think it's the reason why it keeps me alive, because I'm like, otherwise I'll be looking at different age. Because being around them, being around their energy, their optimism, and I see them like seeing the future in a more positive light, more possibilities and opportunities for them. So it's always super exciting.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, but those are not the only events that we have.
Please expand.
Because we are also trying to educate the students, as I told you, in this entrepreneurial mindset, and also teach them the skills, as we discussed, evaluating a technology, being able to communicate what it's a technology about, or what are the problems they're solving. All those critical skills that I think all the students should have. I mean,
Necessary.
yes,
Necessary.
there's fundamental for their success.
So what are the other programs that you guys are running?
Well, right now we're actually preparing our workshops and fireside chats and all the things that we're gonna do for the fall quarter. We're gonna start on September 28th. That's on a Wednesday, and we're gonna have workshops for them on a weekly basis. Again,
Very
to
cool.
cover the different aspects about this, connecting it with entrepreneurship and more in a hands-on environment. Because I keep telling people, like, everybody can go and look at Google or YouTube to find something else.
Right, right.
But if we actually give them something of more value that they can practice, and they can expand and interact with other students, I think that adds more value to their experience rather than just sitting there in a more passive setting.
How many events do you plan on having?
We're gonna have for this quarter, from starting from right now September all the way until December. We're planning to having at least 10 workshops, and then in total around 20 events. So
20 events in total.
Yeah, in
That's
total
great.
For this, yes.
Keep them busy, right?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So, now that you told us about the events, is there any particular location you're trying to hold them in? Are they going to be at the library? Are they going to be at Excite? Maybe it's to be decided, you know?
Well, actually, the workshops are going to be offered in a hybrid setting. So people can join us via Zoom, or they can join us here in campus at UC Riverside. Most of the time, we're trying to do this in a neutral place.
Neutral place.
And when I'm saying that, is like a place that is not affiliated to a particular school or college here at the university.
Right.
Because so we are probably have them at the hub. If you are familiar with UCR, there's the hub. It's a place where they have restaurants and all that. But they also have meeting rooms and classrooms in that, or at the Student Success Center. That is also a place where all the students can go. And
now, will those be available to students only?
Yeah, everybody can join.
Oh, everybody.
Us. Yeah, everybody can join us. There's no limitation to that. I mean, and most of them are free. I mean, so you just walk in and hang in there and be willing to interact and learn and talk about your ideas. I guess that's the only thing that I ask the students is, like, interact, be here, be present, and just hang out.
Okay, so the overall goal is connecting entrepreneurs with entrepreneurs, exposing the student body to entrepreneurship. And, you're carrying that out through some workshops. Are you planning on, like, bringing in other people to speak at these? Oh, you said fireside chats, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about those.
Yes, one of the things that I want to do this quarter is that I want to actually bring entrepreneurs to talk to them, and
cool.
So they can learn from that perspective. It's like somebody that is doing it, and in what are the in the field, right? Like the people that are in the trenches, and what they're doing. What things work for them, what things didn't work for them, but what are their lessons learned, and also like some, insights. I think, again, with the idea that, everybody can Google something, and I can tell you lots of books about, how to be successful in entrepreneurship, but that is not the case. Not the case, and it's not a cookie cutter recipe, but I want the students to be exposed to different perspectives. And also from different voices, because I recognize this intersectionality of entrepreneurship. It's like, it's not the same being, like a female or a male, or it's not the same being an entrepreneur in the retail industry or in the, life science industry. So I want them to hear about all these different voices and different perspectives about it.
Okay, well, you can use any of these people who are being interviewed on the Founders Podcast as well.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah,
I mean,
but
contact them.
yeah, and even on that, as I tell them, it's like I think we need in entrepreneurship, we need more representation. I mean,
Yeah.
and even on here, it's like, well, UCR is a Hispanic institution, and I'm like, you don't see a lot of people like me around here, so what's
Really?
going
Yeah.
on?
Really?
So, but not a lot. But when I keep telling them, it's like, well, a student also needs to find a way to relate to something.
To
So it's
relate.
either
Yes. No,
so,
absolutely.
and being able to see that somebody is working on it and you know it's all about the grind. It's like, yeah, you can just keep doing it and keep trying and learning and being motivated by the others, you know, like you
Yes.
find your mentors and you see people and that you copy, well, not copy, but you follow and they give you inspiration to continue on this journey.
Yeah. So you guys have a web portal or something like that for?
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
What is that?
Well, actually, it's we have a lot of stuff, and as
Okay.
you know, at the university, but we right now, I guess I'm gonna use this as my marketing time
Okay.
to pitch on something else that we're doing here at the I guess for us for EPIC. We are joining Startup Tree, and I don't know if you have heard about it,
Startup
but
tree. No, never heard of it.
yes,
Tell us about that.
well, Startup Tree is actually one platform that we're gonna use. It's actually very well used by all the 50 universities under
Mm.
the Blackstone LaunchPad
Mm-hmm.
network, and we are actually launching our own platform, and I put the link over there
In the
in the
chat.
chat for you.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you. So we're joining Startup Tree, and we're gonna have our own page. And that what is going to help us is as a central location. So we're gonna put all the events, all the resources.
Mm.
Actually, um, entrepreneurs can join us, and then even if they have job opportunities or activities that they want the students to connect to, that I guess it's going to be your central place to do
Right.
so.
Right.
And also we're gonna have forums where people can talk about questions or things like that.
Right.
But we also have, like pretty much everybody else, we have our social media
Social
pages as
media.
those.
Okay.
But one of the things that I know that I guess the nerd in me is the one that keeps telling them, was like, well, yeah, student will like something, you know, like a video or static something, but one of the things that I wanted to do is also provide them something valuable to them. So
Yes.
in our Instagram, what we're trying to do is also provide them information. Every Thursday, we provide information in terms of resources, funding opportunities, and events.
Mm.
And that so most of the time, these things are available for everybody, not only for students. So
Right.
most of these are available for any entrepreneur, let's say in the Inland Empire, or
Very cool.
pretty much everywhere in the world, actually. So
Right.
some of them for the US. There's no limitation of who can benefit from these resources.
Yes.
So, but we're trying to do it again, as I said, to offer them support and information,
Yes.
so they
Yes.
can continue in this.
Well, let me say this: pointing people in the right direction for certain resources, it's really a valuable thing, because a lot of people doesn't, they're not aware of things. They're not aware of resources. They're not aware of portals. They're not aware of free downloadable things. It's a lot out there. And what who do you trust, and what it's worth their time to really spend some time investment reading, but if you've curated these things into one location, that's a really big thing. I think that's really cool. And that's kind of what you guys are doing in some way, huh?
Yeah, and even you touch a very important point about the ecosystem. Here in the Inland Empire, we have a lot of resources for entrepreneurs, even for all stages of entrepreneurship.
Right.
But sometimes people don't know anything
about it.
Or they don't know when they're happening. And because of that, sometimes the people that benefit from these programs or from these resources the usual suspects.
Yeah,
Because they're the ones that
usual
have the
people.
connections or the ones that knew
Right,
about it.
right,
And that's one of the things that we're trying to do is disseminate this information so everybody has access to them.
right.
And in an ecosystem is on another challenge is like listing who's who and who's doing what and who's the
Mm-hmm.
best doing this.
Right,
Because
right.
as you said, it's like we also fall into the trap that because somebody is promoting it or it's more I guess a stronger voice as promoting a program that doesn't say much about the quality
The
of
quality
the
of it, right?
resources or the programs they're offering.
Absolutely. Yes.
So and that's another component saying like who's doing what, but who's doing it best,
Who's doing it best? Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then who's doing it for who in these entrepreneurial stages,
Mm.
and for all these types of entrepreneurs, because
Yes.
obviously not all the entrepreneurs fit into one category.
That's right. That's right. So tell us about the growth of the program since you started. How have you seen it grow? Since you started working, organizing, facilitating Launchpad, what are the growth milestones you've hit up to this point?
Well, one of the goals that we have is reaching students, and I had an ambitious goal of reaching to all the students at UCR.
Mm.
And this comes from a lesson from my UTEP years with Kaufman Foundation. And
Okay.
I want you to try. This is my metrics for testing. If you walk into somebody tells you that is a UCR student, and ask them, do you know about Blackstone LaunchPad? If they
Ooh.
say no, I'm not doing a good job. Because
Ooh.
that's my goal, saying every student needs to learn about Blackstone LaunchPad. Even as a side note, or saying, oh, it's not for me, but I want all the students to learn about it.
So like a household name, but on the campus.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
even in a regional setting.
In a regional setting. Yeah.
Because we offer at the Office of Technology Partnership and EPIC, we help obviously mostly faculty, staff, and students from UCR, but in
Yes.
Excite we help community entrepreneurs.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I mean the possibility that at least they know that we exist and that we offer a service for them.
Cool.
But it's a very ambitious goal. I
That's a good
recognize
goal.
it.
Yeah.
It is a good goal. But another thing that I want them to do is also to students in a more, let's say, reasonable goal is like at least the students know about it in a more diverse way, like students from different majors and minors, not only the students of the school business. I love them, but I'm like, I want the students, like studying liberal arts or the ones that study
Right.
music or the ones that study something else.
Right.
I want the other students to learn about it, not only because entrepreneurship is not a business oriented thing. I want that as well, to have more students from different majors and minors to know about it. And going again with that diversity, is like I want female students to know about it, or I want students of color to know about it. Not only the usual suspects.
So tell us. So you told us some goals that you have. Those are not yet reached, though, right?
No, not really.
Okay, but tell us about some milestones that you've hit since you started the program.
Yeah, actually, last reporting period, we found out that we have reached up to 3,000 students. So it's not the 25,000 students that are enrolled at UCR, but it's like, okay, we made a little dent in terms of the
that's good.
reach.
That's really good.
Yeah, but again, I also want the students or anybody that is doing this on the side. I want to see more student entrepreneurs, because I know they exist, but it's either because they haven't approached us, either because they don't know about the program, or because they're kind of shy and they're not really serious about it, or they're doing this on the side. What's going on? So I want to see more entrepreneurs, because I don't see a lot of entrepreneurs reaching out to us.
There's 25,000 students at UCR.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a bit. But that's a great goal to shoot for. If you can hit all of those and have them at least know about the program, that's great. That's great work. All right, so we're gonna hit 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year goals. What do you see in 3 years? Let's just say you're organizing Blackstone LaunchPad up to 10 years from now. Let's start at 3 years. Where do you want to be in 3 years?
In 3 years, I want to reach at least 50% of the students.
Okay.
As I say, my big goal of all the students, at least
Right.
50% of them in a more organic way. I want also see at least let's see help and support at least 100 entrepreneurs
Mm,
and entrepreneurs and students for
yes.
entrepreneurial ventures founded by students.
Yes.
And I also want as I told you, see more representation of entrepreneurs in the
Right.
Inland Empire.
Right.
But my goal is that those students that graduate and they pursue entrepreneurship, that they stay here
That
because
they
I
stay in the region.
and they contribute to the community and all these
Mm,
things because it happens. I know that sometimes getting a job is more attractive and it's more solid for some of them, but I want
right.
them to be brave and uh, embrace entrepreneurship or
Right.
continue doing it. And for the ones that get a job, I want them to become entrepreneurs, to continue
Entrepreneurs.
using entrepreneurship skills to contribute to the organizations that they join.
Wait, so that's 3 years?
Yeah, it's 3 years.
All right, 5 years.
No.
5 years.
In 5 years. What I want in 5 years. You know what? Everybody talks about unicorns, but I want those students that I reach in the first 3 years that they find success.
Mm,
That at least I could tell you about at least 5 unicorns, like some of
that'd
them
be
that
huge.
actually
Yeah.
choose.
No, that'd be great. 5
That'll be
unicorns.
great, but it's like we don't have a lot of unicorns here in our region. So,
We don't like unicorns are unicorns for a reason
yes.
because they're rare. You know.
Yes. Well, but when I'm saying 5 unicorns, I'm talking about unicorns from different industries or
Right.
doing
Right.
different
Right.
things. No,
True.
no,
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
That's a good goal.
Yes, but when I see this, and I guess it comes from my background from coming from these Hispanic communities and all that, is like we're kind of humble and all that, but I'm like, yeah, it's possible, and I want the students to recognize that it doesn't really matter what your background's at or where you come from. All
No.
of us can
No.
succeed. All of us can do this.
Well, and that's what I love about entrepreneurship is there's no ceiling, unless you put it on yourself. You can always learn new things. You can always continue to grow. So I agree with you. What about 10 years?
my goal for the 10 years that also that is like 100% of the students know about the program, and one way or the other they consider entrepreneurship, learn about entrepreneurship,
Yes.
learn entrepreneurial skills,
Mm,
and they either join ventures or small businesses or
right.
whatever you want. But I want all that to instill that mindset in campus in our students.
It's so good. Well, I think, as she said, joining other ventures is important. If they're not wanting to lead their own endeavor, then they can join some other venture, become a co-founder. It's still a big thing. So, Francesca, tell us a little bit of information about where people can find you online. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, you can actually email me. I guess that's the best way. You can email me at francisca.reyes@ucr.edu.
Okay.
You can also join me, and as I said, in Startup Tree, and you are going to provide the link for Startup Tree. You can
Startup Tree, yes, we're going to put that
in there.
Yep.
You can also find us in Instagram. It's or page is on Launchpad UCR. It's pretty easy.
UCR, that's very
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Launchpad UCR.
Who manages the Instagram account? Do you manage it?
Yes, I mean, well,
wow, okay.
I have a student intern that helps me out with the design, all that.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
great.
we do that. You can also find us over there at the website at the university, ucr.edu. You can find us under the Office of Technology Partnerships. And you can find me and the rest of my guess, coworkers. We're a big team of 20 individuals, and all of us, one way or the other, help entrepreneurs with their journeys.
Very awesome. Francisca, thank you for coming onto the
Thank
Founders
you.
Podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, and I hope that we continue supporting entrepreneurs in our region. It's a
Yes.
good effort. And
We will together. We will
yes,
together. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for tuning into the Founders Podcast. Go visit our guest, Francisca, find out what she's doing with Blackstone LaunchPad at UCR, and get in touch with her. If you know some students from UCR, let them know about Blackstone LaunchPad. We put this podcast out every Tuesday and Thursday of the week. Be sure to tune in. If you're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, any of those, give us a 5-star rating. If you're on YouTube watching us, please click the bell, get notifications. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and like the video. Share it out with at least 4 friends. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.